That's why when I hear people saying that they are so upset about what's going on, one of the things I've been saying for a long time is that we have a crisis of adulthood in America. Too many men acting like boys, too many women acting like girls. We need desperately to wake up. No one has time for you to finish your trauma work before you show up for your country. This is not a time for us to coddle our wounds. The people who had to fight World War II, the people in the civil rights movement, the women suffragettes, the people who have pushed back on greater evils than any of us have ever seen in our own lives were not necessarily perfect people, and they were not people who did not have wounds, and they were not people who did not have anxiety, they were not people who did not have trauma. This entire society, the entire civilization as we now live it, is a chronic trauma. It is a rolling trauma. But this situation we're dealing with is because too many of us were not concerning ourselves with the economic trauma of so many millions of people. And people in that state of economic trauma, I met them. I travel all the time. It's why on the night of Trump's election, I was one of those people who, as disappointed as I was not surprised. Because I had met too many people on my travels who said to me the equivalent of this. I know he's a racist. I know, don't tell me he's a racist. Don't tell me he's a misogynist. Maybe he can help me. Maybe he can help me. And so we are where we are. And I agree with King and I agree with Mahatma Gandhi that we now need a spiritual purification if we are going to expand into the creation of a force field that is resonant enough and powerful enough to override the forces that are upon us. We are not the first generation of Americans to ever have to deal with the assault on American democracy or the fundamental withdrawal of support from American democracy. Certainly, the genocide of Native Americans was not a democratic exercise. Slavery was not a democratic exercise. Certainly, the denial of rights to women, to gay people, and so forth was not a democratic exercise, and many of the things that we're going through today are not a democratic exercise. The issue is not that we're the first generation to have to deal with a serious problem. Let's just not be the first generation to wimp out on doing what it takes to handle the problem now that it's in our midst.